afternoon all. On behalf of IOT Academy, I welcome you all for the second session of National Level Workshop on Research Paradigm and Hands-on SPSS for Beginners. Let me introduce the research person of today's session, Dr. Priyanka Chawla. Dr. Priyanka currently serves as an Associate Professor of Management, Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Indore. She is a finance personnel with 12 years of experience in academic domain. Her qualifications include MBA Finance and PhD in Management. Her area of interest includes microfinance, operation research, research methodology, and ICT tools. She has attended many conferences, workshops, and FDPs. Dr. Priyanka has published 2 books and has got more than 30 papers published to her credit in reputed journals. She has been invited as an expert in various organizations and delivered sessions on ICT, hands-on SPSS, and research methodology. She has been recognized with various awards and has also rendered her services to many organizations. With this, I hand over the session to Dr. Priyanka. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank Jaya Lakshmi ji for giving us this platform. As we have realized that there are so many research scholars, young research scholars, who have no idea about how to go for research and what are the variables that we have to include. So thank you so much, the team IOT Academy. With this, I'm going to present. Thank you. With this, I'm going to share my presentation. So I believe that my voice is properly audible and the screen is visible to all.
Your sides are visible, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So before I start, I request all the participants to be interactive one, because I'll ask some questions. If there is any query, you can ask in between, or you can write down in the chat box. I will cover that topic after the. I'll definitely answer it after my presentation or in. So the very first day, you have studied about research, what is research design, what are the various type of research, or how to formulate objectives and hypothesis. So today we are going to study about the variables which we have to include. What are the different type of variables, types of data, data collection method. Because if you have information about, if you are aware about the type of data, then you will be knowing what type of statistical tool you have to apply, and you do not need to depend on others for statistical analysis. So here I'm going to present the screen. So before I start, I'll ask with one question. If you want to understand anything, so what you do? If you want to understand anything, what we have to do? Suppose if you want to know something, you want to learn something, what you do, what you will be doing, what you should do. Any answer from your side?
Observing. Listening and observing.
Yes, listening and observing. So the first thing is the initial observation is must. Initial observation is must, whatever you will be doing. So in research area, initial observation is must. On the basis of this theory, we are going to generate explanation from which we make hypotheses, we make predictions. And this stage, this is the stage where we need to identify the variables. So here we will be covering this topic. What are variables, different type of variables. Now, the collection of data is must to test the hypothesis. At this stage, you have to measure the variables. After this, you have to analyze data. Once you analyze data and get the result, you need the support of whether this, you have to check whether this theories are supported or not, or accordingly you modify it, right? So this is the basic structure. These are some of the important terminologies that I'm going to cover. People generally get confused between population, target population, and sample. This population means it includes collection of group of people, group of customer, group of company. So it includes collection of all elements. The result of your study is applicable. Target population means in population you are not going to approach anyone. But it is not approachable. Target population is approachable. Suppose, example, if we want to study the behavior of online customers of the world, the online customer of the world will be population. But are these approachable? Can we approach all the world population? No. So that's why target population sample is important. Taking one more example, political. If we want to check the political attitude of all the UG students of Netherlands, Netherlands is here. We want to check the political attitude of all the UG students of Netherlands. So all the UG students of Netherlands, this is the population. But are these approachable? Are all the UG students of Netherlands approachable? This is the population. So what we are going to do, we make top 5 institute. We select top 5 institute from where we get data of all the UG students. So that will be the target population. That will be approachable. And from that top 5 institute, we randomly picked up the sample. So sample is from that target population, we randomly picked up some responses. This will be called sample. I hope it's clear. Can we have one exercise on this? Can you have one exercise on this? On population. So here I'll be showing this. So this is the question to all. Identify sample, target population, and population. A TV rating service is serving resident of MP, India, who bought TV last month. Who will be the population here? What is the population? A TV rating service is serving resident of MP, India, who bought TV last month. What is the population over here?
TV buyers.
India.
Residents
TV buyers.
So target
of MP. And target population?
basically target population in MP, not the population.
Your normal
Those who are
population is
those who are bought TV.
Yeah, so that's target population.
Those are what is
target audience जो है it's
we are serving resident of MP, India.
Yeah.
yes. So Indian resident is population, specifically MP in that,
Yes.
and who are buying the product is target audience.
And pick up the response, that will be the sample. Who are buying that TV class, right?
Come again, I missed what you said.
MP, India. Basic MP is population. Those who are buying TV, that
Yes.
is the target population only.
Yes, yes.
And sample is we randomly select, right? Now, what is parameter? It is number describing the whole population. It will be parameter. Statistic means number describing the sample. That will be the statistic. Now, what is variable?
Ma'am, there are two
What is
factors.
variable?
Ma'am, there are two factors. Some factors are not in our control. Those are independent, and some are maybe based on the
These are the type
independent
of variable.
factors. Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
maybe, say for
So
example,
we can see. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
yes, I was just about to say that if we are studying the condition of the roads and tire, manufacturer is maybe working on the same. So condition of the road is not in hands, but the tire manufacturer can produce accordingly. So weather condition
Yes.
is independent and tire manufacturing is dependent on it.
In simple word, if we a phenomenon where we are trying to measure, which we are trying to measure for our study, right? So it has some attributes which we will be coded. Example, gender. Gender is variable. Under gender, we have two attributes, male and female. Age is variable. Under age, we have attributes like less than 18, 18 to 25, 25 to. So these are the example of variables. There are some types of variable like independent variable and dependent variable. Talking about independent variable means which affect other variable. That is dependent variable. That is not going to change. Okay, it affects other variable. It is also called predictor. It is the cause and that we are going to test. Dependent variable means it relies on independent variable. It is being affected by independent variable. We can say it is the outcome. It is the effect or result. Right? Let us take one example. Effect of temperature on hatching rate of fish egg. Here we are talking about effect of temperature. The temperature, how temperature affect the hatching rate of fish eggs. So we are talking about temperature. The temperature will be independent variable and hatching rate of fish egg will be dependent on temperature. That's why it is called dependent variable. Let us have one exercise. Low intake of food cause underweight. Which is dependent and which is independent?
Intake is independent variable. Underweight is dependent variable.
Right. The risk of lung cancer is due to smoking. Just because of smoking, there will be a risk of lung cancer. So, which is dependent and independent variable?
The smoking is independent.
Smoking is
And
independent and lung cancer is dependent.
level of
Smoking
education
is an independent variable. Risk of lung cancer.
influence job satisfaction.
Education
So
is
job satisfaction is
independent.
dependent variable.
It is the education which influence job satisfaction.
Education is a
Education
independent
is
variable. Job
independent.
satisfaction is a dependent variable.
IDB, if we are more educated, maybe more satisfied. If we are less educated, we may be less satisfied with the job. So education is independent and job satisfaction
Right.
is dependent.
Advertisement
health
is
sales
independent
Advertisement.
and sales promotion is dependent variable.
Last one, the drug causes the improvement of a health problem.
Health problem is dependent and
Drug
drug
is
is
the independent
independent.
variable.
Right.
Improvement of health
Next
is dependent
variable
variable.
is control. Yes. The next variable is control variable. Control variable means it is kept constant. It is not going to change our study. It will not affect our other variable. For example, the teacher, I'm just taking the example, the teacher teaching skills affect a student. The teacher teaching skill will be independent variable. Student that is being affected by the teacher's teaching skill, pedagogy, that will be called dependent variable. During the whole process, during the whole semester, syllabus remains same. So this syllabus does not affect other variables, right? So control variable means which is kept constant. I'll give you another example. I'll show one more. I hope it is clear right up till now. Next is extraneous variable. Extra, the name itself has a meaning. Extraneous variable means extra variable, unwanted variable, which was not considered earlier while designing the experiment, but unintentionally it may change the result. Earlier, while designing the questionnaire, while designing the experiment, these were not taken, these were not considered. But some situation arises, because of that, other variables also affect our variables. These are unwanted variables, extra variables. For example, private tutoring or online courses, which one is more effective? Which one is more effective at improving students' Spanish test score? Here we are talking about private tutoring or online courses. These two have affect students' Spanish test scores. So one is independent, another one is test score is dependent. But apart from this, there may be a chance that their parents know very well Spanish. They may have knowledge about this. Some students are there who already have knowledge about Spanish. Their socioeconomic status also affects. So these are the factors, these are the some of the variables that enter and have impact on these variables. So these are unwanted variables. Earlier, we have not considered this, but slowly and gradually, these are also taken into consideration. Next is mediating variable. What is mediating variable? I have included all the important variables here. Mediating means intervening variable, or we can say it shows the relationship between the two variables. It shows the relationship or connection between the two variables. For example, here I'm talking about x. X has direct impact on y. So x is independent, y is dependent. But instead of direct relationship, x first impact z. This is mediating variable, and z then impact y. Right? So this is called mediating or intervening variable. It shows the relationship between the two variables. Instead of direct relationship, there is indirect relationship. Here, if we talk about price or customer loyalty, so price has direct impact on customer loyalty. So there is no intervening or mediating variable here. Price has direct effect on customer loyalty. But if we include customer satisfaction as a mediating variable, price first affect customer satisfaction, and once customers are satisfied, this customer satisfaction then affect customer loyalty. Or we can take another example also. Talking about wage or working hours. Here I'm talking about working hour. Working hour of labor. Working hour of labor directly affect productivity, right? One is dependent and another one is independent. The working hour is independent. Working hour affect productivity. Instead of checking the direct relationship, working hour first affect the health of employee or labor. It first affect health, and health then affect productivity, right? Or in this case, the mediating variable is health. Or we can take another example. Working hour first affect wages. Wages then affect productivity. Less number of working hour affect wages. And if we are satisfied, if the worker is satisfied with the wages, then it affects productivity, right? So this is called mediating variable. Interaction variable or moderating variable. Here there is a direct relationship between the two variables, but one variable is introduced to strengthen or weaken either independent variable or dependent variable. It modifies the existing variable. It either strengthen or weaken the independent or dependent variable. For example, there is a direct relationship between advertisement and sales. Advertisement affects sales. Advertisement is indirect. Sales is dependent variable. Advertisement is independent variable. But competition. If competition increases, advertisement decreases, and there may be possibility that sales may decrease. If competition is less, advertisement increases and sales might be increasing. So what these factors are doing, they are directly or indirectly affecting. There is no mediating variable here, but this gives strength or weakness to the other variable. We can have one more example so that you can understand in a better way. Wages of labor affect productivity. Here there is a direct relationship. Wages affect productivity. But there is no mediating variable. But if I say it is due to age, if age increases, wages decreases, productivity decreases. So here, which factor is strengthening or weakening the variable? Age. If we are talking about age, if age increases, wages might be decreases, productivity decreases. If age is less, 20 or 25, young boy will be there, then he will work more, wages will be increases, or productivity ultimately will get increased. So generally this is at nominal data. This use nominal data. Let us understand all the variables with the help of one example. Here we can see that, okay, first you have a look on this. I had tried to make this. There are 3 variables: artist, songs, we can say production cost, and storyline or dialogue. This affects the sale revenue of movie. This means this is dependent variable. This is independent variable. Artist, if you have good artists in the movie, if the storyline dialogues are good, production cost is reasonable, that means it is directly affecting sales revenue. So sales revenue dependent on these 3 factors, these 3 variables. That means these 3 are independent. These 3 are independent. This is dependent one. Sales revenue of movie is dependent one. If storyline is good, Salman Khan is there in the movie, so there is a direct relationship. But if audience responses are good, their reviews are good, feedback is good. So storyline, songs, artists first have impact on word of mouth of the audience. They are giving positive feedback. More and more number of audience will attract. Also watch the same movie just because of his reviews. So this first affect word of mouth, and word of mouth is helping in increasing sale revenue of the movie. So this is called word of mouth will be the mediating variable. During the whole process while making the movie, artist, production cost, storyline, when this all process were going on till its launch, producer remains the same. So this is called constant variable. It is not going to affect our scene. Apart from artist, production cost, storyline, dialogue, item songs will be there, location, the picturization, video effect will be there. So these are the extra variable that attract customer, that attract audience. So these are called extraneous variable, which directly or indirectly affect the sales revenue of the movie. So this is mediating variable, producer is constant variable, these are extra variable. Now, if Salman Khan is in the movie, it will help in generating the sales. But instead of Salman Khan, Shahid Kapoor will be there in the movie, would be in the movie. Or the gender also affect the sales revenue. It either strengthen or weaken. Year of experience. If artist is having more number of experience, so it might affect the picturization or acting part. If he is having less number of experience, it may affect the acting part and it affect the sales revenue. So this is called moderating variable. As I told you, most of the time it will be in the nominal scale. So first we understand what is nominal data, interval scale. We will study soon because tomorrow there will be a session on SPSS where you have to be aware of all these scales. So I'll be taking the scales, interval scale, ratio scale, nominal scale, ordinal scale right now. I hope it is clear with the help of this example. All the variables are clear to you. So moving ahead. Okay. Parameter is generally, we can say it is a numerical characteristic. See, we can see the population parameter. Population mean is denoted by mu, but it is the part of population mean is sample mean. Sample mean is denoted by x bar. Population standard deviation. This is the characteristic parameter. How will you define this parameter? Parameter means this notations. So population standard deviation. If we talk about standard deviation of whole population, it will be noted as this sigma. If we talk about the sample standard deviation, it will be the notation that is used is S. So population parameter is denoted by mu. Sample parameter is sample mean is denoted by x bar. So it is a numerical characteristics which describing the whole population. So how it will be describing the whole population? With the help of mu. How the sample mean is describing? With the help of this x bar. So this is the notation. Population size. If we talk about population size, it is denoted by n. If we talk about capital N. If we talk about sample size of statistic, it will be denoted by small n. So these are some of the notations. Again, with the help of this, I'm showing you this data. And you tell me what is this? These are 15, 20, 24, 10, 5. What is this? I have mentioned here. So can you guess what is this? No idea? Can you guess what is this?
Score, ma'am. Scores.
It is generally data. It is not mentioned whether it is score, this can be a marks, this can be a age, but we cannot identify. This is a raw data. We can say this is a raw data. So matlab, this means that the data itself has no meaning. It is unprocessed fact, right? But if I write down here age, these are the age of the respondents. How many respondents are there? How many respondents are there? 6. 30 respondents. This is the age of 30 respondents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In each 5 column. So 6 into 5 is 30. So this is the age of 30 respondents. This is just a data, raw data. It has no meaning. It is unprocessed fact. But when data is processed, it has its meaning. It becomes information. For example, if we see how many respondents are there who are below the age of 20 years. Can we count this? Below 20 years, 15. Below 20 years, 10. 5. Below 20 is 12. Below 20, 18. Below 20, that means there are 5 respondents who lie below the age of 20 years. There are 8 respondents who lie between the age 20 to 40 years. So now can we get the information? We can say that there are 8 respondents who lie between the age 20 to 40 years. 4 respondents are there who lie between the age 60 to 80 years out of 30 respondents. So this was the raw data that we had collected, and then it became processed. The raw data become the information. We are getting the information from the raw figure. Now, coming to data type, there are 2 types of variable. Quantitative and qualitative. This is the most important part because you are going to do this in SPS tomorrow. So you should know how many type of data are there, what is the scale data, continuous, discrete, ordinal, nominal. You should know all these things. So there are 2 types of variable, quantitative and qualitative. Qualitative means categorical data, which are not measured in quantitative or numeric form. Quantitative means scale data, which we can count. It is in numeric form. Quantitative. Numeric, qualitative, not in numeric form. But we can convert it into numeric form. So qualitative, under qualitative or categorical, we have 2 scale, ordinal and nominal. Nominal means there is no order. We just assign numbers. We just providing coding to it. We are going to provide coding. Ordinal means step by step ranking order. So ordinal means order wise. Quantitative means number form, numeric form that we can count. Again, quantitative means scale data. Scale data is divided into 2 parts, continuous and discrete. Discrete means which we can count. How many? It deals with how many. Continuous means it will be in fraction, or we can say decimal. For example, I told you earlier that discrete means how many, which we can count easily. For example, number of eggs that hen lays. It can be 0, 1, 2, 3. we can easily count how many number of students are present in your class. 30, 35, 40. So these are discrete data, countable data. Talking about continuous deals with how much. That will be in fraction or decimal. For example, the amount of milk that cow produces, it can be 12.34 liters per day. It is in fraction, na? Height of the person, 4 feet 3 inch, 5 feet 7 inch, right? So it is in decimal form. So it is called continuous. Let us have one exercise on this. You just have to tell me whether it is discrete or continuous. The voltage of electricity in a power line. The voltage of electricity in a power line. Whether it is continuous data or discrete data. Any idea about this?
Continuous data.
Continuous. Number of eggs that hen lays. Discrete. It is countable. The time it takes for a student to complete a test. The time it takes for a student to complete the test.
Continue.
Yes, it may be 1 or 30 minutes. Family annual income. Family annual income.
Discrete.
Can't we say he is earning 13,456.50? Can't we say this?
Continuous.
Continuous. Number of users purchase SPSS software.
Discrete.
Discrete.
Volume of water in a water bottle.
Continuous.
Continuous.
Number of students pass or fail in the exam.
Discrete.
Blood cholesterol, hemoglobin. Continuous. Now, generally the scales are divided into 4 parts: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. But in SPSS, you can see the 3 scales: nominal, ordinal, and interval. It is a combination of interval and ratio. These 2 are similar. That's why SPSS have taken only interval scale. Okay. So for nominal and ordinal, if the data is nominal or ordinal, then we use non-parametric test like chi-square, or we can say the Kruskal-Wallis test, and so on, Mann-Whitney U test. If the data is interval or ratio, then we have to apply parametric test. Now, let us understand what is nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. Nominal means the categorical data. We are assigning, we are coding numbers. We are providing coding to the variable attributes. We are providing coding. We are assigning numerical value. We cannot perform logical operations or arithmetic operations over there. We cannot subtract, divide, or multiply it. There is no order. We cannot say male are greater than female or vice versa. Female are greater than male. So no logical or arithmetic operations are performed. We are just going to assign the numbers. 0, 1, 2. Like gender, male and female, these 2 are attributes. We are just assigning number 1 and 2. It could be 0 or 1. Talking about race, Russian, Chinese, Indian, 1, 2, 3. Similarly, occupation, homemaker, service, Professional, 0, 1, 2 or 1, 2, 3. So we are just assigning number. We cannot say ki homemaker are greater than professional and service man. Right? Here we are just going to provide coding to it. Next is ordinal. Ordinal means ranking. Preference. Okay, socio-economic status, high, medium, low. Although we are providing coding to it, 1, 2, 3, but there is a preference, there is a ranking order. Position, first, second, third, grades, A, B, C, D. Designation, lecturer, assistant professor, associate professor, professor, dean, and so on. So these are in ranking order. That means we have dimension, but there is no difference. Difference is not the same. We can say the interval is not equal. The difference between the two dimensions are not same. A, B, C, D. First, second, third. The one who is getting first position might got 97%. The one who is getting second score might have got 80%. Third one, 78%. The difference is not equal, right? Talking about interval scale. Interval and ratio is a part of quantitative data. So interval is next higher order. It possesses all the qualities of the first two scales, that is nominal and ordinal scale. The thing is that there will be a arbitrary zero. Matlab we are assigning zero. There is no actual zero over there. We are just assigning zero. There is no true zero. Absolute zero is not there. Arbitrary zero is there. So we can say it could be negative or positive. Talking about temperature. Temperature. So in temperature we have negative, 0 and positive. So that is called, we can add, we can subtract, but we cannot divide or multiply. So temperature, there is 0 here itself has no meaning. That's why this Likert scale is a part of interval scale. Standard, strongly disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree. We are assigning number to this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The difference between 1 and 2 is same, 2 and 3 is same, 3 and 4 is same. But we are not, the interval is same, but we are not going to multiply, divide it. Ratio. Talking about ratio scale, it has 0 point. It is, we can say it starts from 0. It has absolute 0. It starts from 0 and it has absolute 0. It possesses all the quality of all the scale, upper scale. That means nominal, ordinal, and interval. For example, age of the respondents, it starts from 0, no? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then he become 10-year-old, then he become 15-year-old. So age means it starts from 0. It has actual 0. Test score out of 50, there may be chance that someone may score 48 marks. Someone might got 0, right? So it has, let us have one more exercise on this. Eye color. You have to tell whether it is nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio. Eye color. Blue, brown, green. We are just providing coding for this. 0, 1, 2. So this is called, eye color will be
Nominal.
nominal. Poor, good, excellent, poor, good, excellent, step by step, ordinal. Exam score, which starts from 0 till 100. Some may get 0 marks, some may get 58, some may get 48, some may get 90. So, which scale is this? Which scale will be this?
Interval.
Interval. No.
Interval cannot be start from 0.
It will be
Ratio, because it has true value 0.
0.
Exam grade, A, B, C, D.
Ordinal.
Ordinary. Salary,
Interval.
can the salary be negative?
No.
If it is not negative, that means it will start from 0. Then that means it will be ratio scale, not interval.
Ratio.
Because interval
Yes. Will not be equally.
age 12, 45, 78, 90, 56, 20. Age will be age will be it start from 0, na? So it may be ratio.
Ratio.
Ranking of school football teams in Malaysia.
Oh. Ordinal.
Yes. Nationality.
Nominal.
Nationality. Nominal.
Temperature.
Temperature is it can be 0, so it can be ratio.
Ratio.
If you are marking if everyone says that my temperature is this one, I have 97.8, 98.8. If you are just marking the ratio, noting down the reading of the respondent, then it will be ratio. Temperature, itself temperature will be interval. I'm not talking about the reading. I'm talking about the temperature.
Ordinal.
Thermometer.
Ordinal.
Temperature. Not ordinal.
Temperature could be 0, right? Temperature could be 0, right? Starting from 0. So it
No,
will
no,
be
no.
ratio.
I'm talking about the instrument. Temperature means I'm talking about here thermometer. Okay. It starts from.
Nominal.
It starts from. Temperature instrument that we are
47
using.
degrees Celsius.
It could be interval then.
10, 20, 30, 40,
Interval
50,
then.
60.
Interval.
Interval. But if you are noting down the reading of the respondents, that will be 97.8, 98.8, 99, then it will become ratio. Yes.
Ratio.
Code.
Nominal.
Nominal.
No. Yes.
Yes.
Nominal. If we are denoting.
So when ma'am reading
Now.
will be in point, so it will be in ordinal scale.
No. If 97, you are just marking the reading. You are just noting down the reading of the respondent. Some may say ki, I have 98.8. Some may say 98.98, 7.8, 98.92. Some may say 99.9, 101. So randomly you are cutting. You are just marking. Then it's not interval. You are just, this is ratio scale.
Okay.
Right? It has 0, na? It may be 0.
Yes.
Now, coming to the data collection method, if you want to prepare fruit chart, what is the instrument you will be using? Knife. Knife is the instrument that you will be using to make fruit chart. Similarly, in research, if you want to collect data, there may be instrument. There are various ways to collect data from that instrument, but that instrument should be the proper one. Based on some criteria, we use instrument. For example, if there are only 10 people, then interview will be the best option. But if there will be 1,000 respondents, then do you think interview will be, then in that case, questionnaire will be the best option. Okay. So there are various type of data collection method. I believe that you know very well what is data. Data means raw data that will be converted into information. When it is converted, when it is processed, it will be converted into information. There are two ways of collecting data: primary and secondary. Primary means where face-to-face interaction is done. This is the original data that researcher get it from the respondents for the first time. It may be collected by researcher himself, or on behalf of the researcher, agent may collect information from the respondents. Since there is a direct communication, there is a face-to-face interaction, so it may consider as more accurate. But the cost involved and time involved will be the collecting data will be more. It is most costly. It is more costly and time consuming. Talking about secondary data. Secondary data means someone has already collected that data. It has been already published, and we are using that data for our own research. We are including that. It is already collected by someone else. That is called. That's why it is called secondary data, second-hand data. Someone has already done statistical process. Somebody had already applied statistical tools in that. So that's why it is called secondary data. And we are using that data for our own research, and we make modifications in that. Right? Talking about secondary data, there are various ways. Sources of secondary data: internal and external. Internal means inside the organization, external means outside the organization. Internal, what are the sources of secondary data in internal, inside the firm? There may be annual report, balance sheet, financial statement, brochure, accounts, sales report. These are the various ways we can collect secondary data. That means they have already worked on this, and we are using that data for our own purpose. External means outside the organization, that may be published or unpublished. Published means we have already published books or journals. It may be published in reports, in report form, publication, government agency or research agency. Unpublished means which are under a process and it is not being published by research agency or scholars. This was the simple one. Now, talking about primary data. What is primary data?
Collect through
Data collected
questionnaire
from first-hand.
So, what do
or
you think of
surveys
this?
or interviews.
Yes. Here,
Data
first-hand
collected
experience.
very freshly by ourselves.
Data collected from first-hand.
this is how she's collecting data from with the help of interview.
Interview.
So in interview, there is a communication between two persons, interviewer and interviewee. Matlab conversation is happening face to face, either through words on virtual platform or telephonic or video conference platform. There are basically two types of interview: structured and unstructured. Structured means already pre-planned questions are there. There is a set of questions and you cannot ask anything outside of that questions. These are already prepared by the interview, and interview will ask only the set of questions available. Talking about unstructured questions, this is not pre-planned. Whatever comes in the mind of the interviewer, he just asks from the interviewee. The next question will be based on the previous question. For example, if Shah Rukh Khan is interviewed, so what we will do, what movies you are going to like, accordingly, when he answers the question, accordingly we can change the question. Whatever comes in the mind of the interviewer, he just directly asks the question. from the respondents. Another thing is focus group interview, online interview, telephone interview will be there. Talking about survey. Survey means we are getting information in the form of opinion or experience of the group of the people or attitude or behavior. We are going to evaluate what they are going to say. In this survey, the questionnaire are used. The process used in survey, the instrument which we are going to use in survey method is questionnaire. Again, when data is collected from each and every unit of population, that means when we collect data from each and every family, each and every household, how many number of family members are there in your household, what is your income, what is your occupation. This type of data if we collect from each and every household, that will be called census survey. It is generally used to know the population. If it is collected from representative part of population, that is only few part, then it is called sample survey. So this is the survey questions. This is a survey question of restaurant. But the instrument that we are using is questionnaire. Now, what is questionnaire? It is a set of structured questionnaire. It may be in a paper form or through Google form we can collect the questionnaire data. Again, it is divided into two parts. It may be open-ended or close-ended. Open-ended questionnaire will be those questions which wherein respondents answer to the question freely. There will no choice will be given to them. There are some restrictions. Sorry, there are no restrictions given to them. They can answer the question freely. They can share their experience with the in the form of feeling, attitude, behavior. They can write anything. Open-ended means you can write without any restrictions. But in close-ended question, there are limited set of possible questions. We give them some restrictions. Choices are given to them, and they have to mark on it. They are not going to answer it freely. So close-ended questions are in the form of dichotomous. Dichotomous means binary, yes or no, or categorical form if there are more than two attributes. MCQs are there, multiple choice question, you have to tick on any one. Checklist, more than one option you can tick. Rating. So these are the close-ended questionnaire where restrictions are given to the respondents. Another thing of collecting the data is this is the
Enumeration.
yes, schedule we can say. So similar to questionnaire, we use schedule. We collect data there is a schedule, there is a proforma containing a set of questionnaire. It is in tabular form. It is filled by the enumerator. Now, what is the difference between questionnaire and schedule? Questionnaire, the data is collected by the either researcher or on his behalf of other person. Indirectly, we can collect data. But in schedule, researcher come directly in contact to the respondents. Questionnaire cover wide area where it may be distributed to the people, and only educated and illiterate people can fill up. But if we talk about schedule, as researchers come directly in contact with the respondents, it is considered to be more reliable, and whether the respondents are educated or illiterate or literate, it is helpful in all the cases. But it covers only limited area as compared to questionnaire. Next, another way of collecting the primary data is observation. Again, observation is another way of collecting the data. Here we are going to observe. Data is collected through senses, sight, it may be hearing, taste, or here we are going to collect the attitude, behavior of the respondents. Again, it is divided into some parts. Structured observation means already pre-planned. Systematic observation. We have come up with some tools and devices. Unstructured means without any planning. There is no rule followed. We just gathered there in the mall and just looking here and there and observing the people. Suppose we are going into the mall and we want to know the purchasing behavior of the respondents. What we will do? We can carry our own devices, camera, so that will be structured one. We keep an eye on the respondents, what he is doing. We note down each and everything. Unstructured means without plan. Participating means researcher become the member of the subject group, like in case of tribal area. If you want to know the tribal culture, he himself involved in that culture and properly dressed up in the same outfit. Non-participating means he is not a part of that subject group. Researcher is not a part of that event. He observed the things directly and use some devices to collect data. Disguised and open observation. Disguised means when a researcher is not aware about that he is being judged by or noticed by any researcher. Open observation means he is aware that someone is looking toward him and noted each and everything. He is aware. Respondents are aware about this thing. The main advantage is the actual habit of respondents are observed, noted down, like in case
Ma'am, you are not audible.
No, ma'am, you're not audible, ma'am.
Ma'am, sorry, ma'am, your voice is not audible, ma'am.
No issues, ma'am.
hello.
You're audible, ma'am.
Okay, which was the last slide? Can you please help me out in this? I think somebody has answered me schedule. That was audible to all. I think observation is another way of collecting information.
Can I just share, ma'am? Will help you.
So this was the last slide which I was explaining. I hope till observation it was audible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Advantages, disadvantages of observation.
Okay. Now, another last one is primary data. Another way of collecting the primary data is through projective technique. It is the indirect mean of collecting information from the respondents. It identifies the personality of the respondents. It is developed by psychologists. Generally, it is classified into visual, verbal, and expressive technique. Visual means thematic apperception test is conducted. In this, set of picture is displayed to the respondent, and he is being told to narrate the story on this or to explain the picture. This is explaining. Verbal means with the help of word association test, or we can say sentence completion test or story completion test. One line is given to the respondent and he is told, he's being told to complete the story or to tell one line after this. So this is called verbal expressive technique. Now, another one is expressive. This is the way of role play or drawing or painting. With the help of role play or drawing, painting, what he is going to express himself. He is going to express himself with the help of role playing or with the help of some drawing. He has been shown some drawing or he is told to draw some picture and explain something. So this is called projective technique. It is used in qualitative research generally. So this is the various way of collecting primary data. Observation, I told you earlier, here the opinion, feeling of the respondents are monitored. Interview, it is the face-to-face interaction with the respondents. Survey method, it is used in descriptive field or field research. In survey, the tools that we are going to use is questionnaire. Schedule is just similar to questionnaire, but it is a tabular form and it is a set of questionnaire included in the schedule, where enumerator asks from each and every respondents. Experiment is conducted in labs and laboratory. We can say simulation, imitation of model of the real world. Panel method, where group of experts sit together and have discussion. We can say brainstorming, or we can say cognitive thinking based on. Projective technique, it is the indirect way of interviewing technique, as we have read this. Focus group is another way of primary data. So with this, I've completed this variable part, data type, and interview technique. So I'm going to share the screen.
The session is open for discussion now. We can unmute and interact with the resource person, or you can post your questions in the chat box. Thank you.
Either you
Thank you.
can write down, if you have any query, you can write it down on the chat box. If you have any query, you can ask directly, or if you haven't have one-to-one interaction, then the questions, and then the forum is open. So tomorrow we'll be having a session on SPSS. So all these things, variable, data type, data collection, all these things help you a lot. If you don't have any idea about SPSS, then you will be learning tomorrow.
Ma'am,
But
do we need to download?
You should know nominal.
Sorry, ma'am, to disturb, but I would like to ask, do we need to download the software for tomorrow's session?
If you have software, do you have software?
No, I don't have.
Okay, so we will provide you, we will share with Jaya Lakshmi ma'am today. And if you don't have SPSS
Okay.
software, then you can download it. We will write down the steps accordingly.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Steps for downloading will be mentioned on the message.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Which notes? I hope it is clear to all. The basic part is clear to all, because most of you are research scholars and you might not be having about the idea of about variable, data type. You might not have information about this. Okay, I'll share the PPT. So I hope
Be sharing in the group, ma'am.
okay. The link of SPSS software I'll be sharing with ma'am. So ma'am will be sharing in the group. All these things you should know before you go for SPSS. So this is the basic part that I have covered today.
Any questions?
There will be a session of SPSS software tomorrow. So sir will be telling you in detail.
I think there are no more questions, ma'am. Shall we wind up?
Okay. If you have any query or question, then you can ask in the group. So ma'am will convey to me. So thank you to all.
On behalf of IOT Academy, sorry, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt. On behalf of IOT Academy, I thank Dr. Priyanka ma'am for a very interactive and innovative session, ma'am. The session was really enlightening and enriching. Thank you very much for your efforts, ma'am. We thank you once again for the amazing presentation. Thank you very much, ma'am. I thank all the participants for joining the session today. Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am.
So I'll be leaving the group. I mean
Thank you, ma'am.
this platform. So I'll be leaving this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay, thank you.
you. Welcome. Kindly submit the feedback form using the link that has been posted in the chat box. Thank you all. Please submit the feedback form using the link that has been posted in the chat box. Thank you.